Hey guys, so today we're going to start taking a look at the point slope form of a linear function, or the point slope form of a line. So just like its name implies, we use this form when we have the point on a line and the slope. So first of all, here is the point slope form. So y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. And again, we have our slope, that's right here. The m we know is the slope, but we also have x and y of the point. So let's practice writing this. So let's say I tell you the slope of a line is 2 and it goes through the point 4, 6. So first I'll write the form. Y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. And then I just plug it in. So y minus, this is my x, this is my y. So my y is 6 equals, what is my slope? 2 times x minus, what is my x in my point? It's 4. So I'm finished. So a line that has a slope of 2 and goes through the point 4, 6 in point slope form is this right here. So let's try a couple more. So let's say I tell you the slope is -9 and it goes through the point 12. Let me write it up here to be consistent. And it goes through the point 12, -9. So I write my form, y minus y sub 1 equals m times x minus x1. Y minus, what is my y in my point? Well, it's -9. Can't drop any of the negatives. Equals, what's my slope? -9 times x minus, what is my x in my point? 12. Now we simplify this. 2 negatives make a positive. So y plus 9 equals -9 times x minus 12. So a line that has a slope of -9 and goes through the point 12, -9 in point slope form is this right here. I want to try one more. I don't know if you've noticed, but pay close attention to what happens to the negatives in our points. So let's try one more if you're given the slope and a point. So I want to say my slope is 1/5. And then I want to say that my point is -2, -8. So I want to write the equation of this line in point slope form. So y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. Now let's plug in our information. Y minus, well, what is our y? -8. You can go ahead and just change that to a plus if you want to. My slope is 1/5 times x minus, what is my x? -2. So this simplified is y plus 8 equals 1/5 times x plus 2. So that's our equation in slope-intercept form. Point slope form. So now let's pause for just a second. What if I give you the equation? I now want us to find the point and the slope. So let's say I give you y minus 5 equals 1/3 times x minus 3. Well, we know where the stuff is. Y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. Now let's pull it out. So my slope is 1/3. Take your time with the point. Here I have a minus, here I have a minus, so my x is 3. Here I have a minus, here I have a minus, so my y is 5. So this line has a slope of 1/3 and it goes through the point 3, 5. But let's take a look at what we do with something like this. Let's say I have y plus 3 equals negative 2 times x plus 1. So y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. So slope is easy. I can see the slope is negative 2, but I have to take my time on the point. So first let's find our y. Here I have a minus, but here I have a plus. So my x is negative 1. Same thing here. In my original form, I have a minus, but here I have a plus. Remember, it takes two negatives to make that plus. So my y is negative 3. So if you have pluses, remember to change it to minuses. Or to negative signs. Sorry about that. So now let's take a look at some of the types of questions, the other types you might see. I'm not always going to give you the slope and a point. Sometimes I'll give you 2 points. Let's take a look here. Let's say we have negative 2, 4 and 4, 22. And I say, write an equation in point-slope form of the line that goes between these 2 points. Well, I know that for point-slope form, I need 1 point and the slope. So, in the last lesson, or a couple of lessons ago, we learned how to find the slope between 2 points. We used the formula, y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1, first x, first y, second x, second y. So this is going to be 22 minus 4 over 4 minus a negative 2. So 22 take away 4 is 18. 4, that becomes a plus. 4 plus 2 is 6. So my slope is 3. Here's what I want you to understand if you have 2 points. No matter which point that you use, you're going to get the right answer, the same answer. Follow me here. So let's plug. I'm going to do one for each of these. So let's use the first point in the first one. So I'm going to do y minus y1. I always start until I know I have this memorized. I always write it to make sure I get the right stuff. So this is going to be y minus 4. I'm using the first point, equals 3 times x minus a negative 2. Well, I know that becomes a plus 2. Now I'm going to leave that here for a minute. Watch this. Now I'm going to use the second point. So I'm going to write it down, y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. Y minus my y in the second point is 22 equals a slope of 3 times x minus and my x is 4. Now those don't look alike, do they? Those look completely different. Do you remember whenever we studied slope-intercept form? Watch what happens when I change both of these to slope-intercept form, okay? And we do that using some of the solving equation stuff that we did before. So this is point slope. I'm going to change the first one to point slope, to slope-intercept form, or the y equals mx plus b. So I'm going to do that by doing the distributive property. So I get 3x plus 6, and then I'm going to add 4 to both sides. So when I do that, I get y equals 3x plus 10. So here's point slope, here's slope-intercept form. Watch this. Let's see. Here's point slope. Make sure I do it right. And here's slope-intercept form. Watch what happens when I change the second one to slope-intercept form. First, I do my distributive property. So y minus 22 equals 3x minus 12. Then I'm going to add 22 to both sides. Y equals 3x plus 10. So listen carefully. No matter which of the 2 points or which of the points I use, if I simplify to the slope-intercept form, I will get the same answer. So make a note, it doesn't matter which point I choose. That being said, let's do a couple of more types of problems. So sometimes you'll be given a table and asked to write point slope form. So let's say you have this table right here. Negative 684, negative 4, 106, negative 2, 128, 2, 172, and 4, 194. What did I say back when we talked about using the slope formula of a line? Now this only works for linear functions. Pick any 2 points. It doesn't matter which 2, you'll get the same answer. So I am going to use the bottom 2. I'm going to use 2, 172 and 4, 194. So if I say write the line of equation in point slope form, that means I need the slope and any point on the line. So the first thing I'm going to do is find the slope. y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. First x, first y, second x, second y. So this is going to be 194 minus 172 over 4 minus 2. So let's keep going here. So if I subtract 194 minus 172, I get 22. 4 minus 2 is 2, so my slope is 11. So, does it matter which point I use to write my formula? No. So I'm going to say y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. And I'm going to use the bottom one. I just picked one, chose one. So y minus, what is my y? 194 equals, my slope is 11. X minus, what is my x value in that point? It's 4. So that is my equation in point slope form because it tells me the slope of the line is 11 and the point on the line is 4, 194. I still want us to practice changing this to slope-intercept form. So let's do the distributive property. Y minus 194 equals 11x minus 44. I'm going to add 194 to both sides. So I get y equals 11x and 194 take away 44 is 150. So from this, I know my slope is 11 and it goes through the y-axis at 150. So my y-intercept is 150. So now I hope you're starting to see different forms give us different information. I want to do one more with you. Let's say, actually I have a couple more to do with you. So let's sketch a graph. Sometimes you have to go from a graph to the point slope form. So let's do a quick sketch of this graph. And let's go 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And let's put a point at 6, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's at 6, 4. And I'm going to tell you another point is at 5, 7. 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So I've got 5, 7 here. So if you have a graph, you can do rise over run, right? And I'm telling you to write an equation in point slope form, m times x minus x1. So here I have a rise of 3, but it's going down. So down 3 over from 5 to 6 is 1. So my slope is -3. And you can pick any point on that line and plug it in. I'm going to do the first one. So I'm going to say y minus, my y value is 7, equals, my slope we said was -3, x minus, my x value here is 5. And so remember, you can also change this over to slope-intercept form, but right now we're just going to leave it in point-slope form. And then our last example, let's say we have an actual situation. In a situation, they will give you the rate of change. So let's write that down. In a situation, they'll give you the rate of change, or the rate, that's our slope, and a specific point in that situation. So let's take a look at what this may look like. A yearbook company, if you'll write this in your notes, a yearbook company charges a 75 cents rate per layout page. The students at RRMS designed a 44 layout yearbook that costs $57. Write an equation to, and I'm not going to write that, write an equation to represent the relationship between the cost and the number of layouts. So if you encounter a word problem or a real-world situation that gives you a rate, remember that's our slope. Did they give us a rate? Yes, they did. And a specific point in that situation, well, they did a 44 layout yearbook that cost $57, and they ask you to write an equation. You can plug it into the point slope formula or form. So y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. So let's think about this for a minute. I know I can clearly see that my slope is 75 cents, but I've got to think a minute about how to write my point. So let's think about this. If my slope is cost per layout, I need to write this out. Cost per page or per layout page. Let's look. Remember, slope is change in y over change in x. Cost is $57 per 44 page layout. The reason I did this is this helps me know what my x and my y are in my point. See that? So if the slope is price per layout page, slope is change in y over change in x, so 57 over 44 means my slope or my point is 44, 57. So now I can write my equation. Y minus my y is 57 equals my slope was 75 cents times x minus, and my x value in my point is 44. So use your notes to help you on your practice, and I'll talk to you guys later.